Around a mile from Highway 99, the macabre discovery of two lifeless bodies stunned a group of laborers to their core. Who were these unfortunate victims? Found curled up in fetal positions, their identities lost to the shadows of history. With a chilling tale of brutality and deception unfolding, the question lingers: who were these Jane Does, and how did they meet their tragic fate? Hi, and welcome back to our channel. If you are new here, please consider subscribing, as it helps us motivate to create more intriguing content for you. Let's have a look at the shocking Jane Doe case, finally solved after a struggle of 38 years. The discovery. Around a mile away from Highway 99, a group of laborers were toiling away in an almond grove when the incident that sparked this tale took place. They were going about their normal business when they came upon the body of a young woman who was curled up in the fetal position. The woman was dead. The discovery kicked off a chain of occurrences that, in the end, revealed a harrowing story filled with acts of brutality and deception. The first victim, who has been given the alias Jane Doe, Kern County, was a Native American woman who was approximately 35 years old. She was discovered wearing her entire wardrobe when she was discovered, including a pink top, blue slacks, and pristine white sneakers. Nevertheless, the front of her pink top was covered in blood. It did not take long for the detectives to establish that she had suffered several stab wounds, and it was immediately clear that her death was not the result of a tragic accident, but rather a premeditated act of violence. Identification challenges. Attempting to determine the identities of Jane Doe victims is always a huge difficulty for detectives. If formal identification is lacking, it is far more difficult to locate witnesses and develop leads that could help solve the case. The first victim was unfortunate in that she did not have any kind of identification, jewelry, or other personal possessions that could have provided a clue to her identity. It was determined during the autopsy that she had been sexually assaulted, and the two tattoos that were found on her body served as the primary method of identifying her. The first tattoo was a rose with the words "I love you" and "Mother" written on it. The second tattoo was a heart with the name Shirley, along with the words "Love you" and "Seattle." Another alarming finding came to light as the investigation into Jane Doe in Kern County continued. In Ventura County, the body of a second woman, who was identical to the first in look and cause of death, was located. Another unidentified female victim was found with traces of a struggle visible on her arms and hands. She was wearing a top of lighter color that was completely covered in blood. Breakthrough in DNA research. When the DNA evidence that had been taken from the rape kit and the victim's clothing in 1980 was resubmitted for examination using modern techniques, this was the moment that the inquiry took a turn for the better. The Department of Justice eventually informed the detectives that they had a CODIS match, matching the DNA to a convicted offender named Wilson Shust, who was already serving a life term for a string of sexual assaults. The same DNA evidence that led to the first match also led to a match with another Jane Doe case in Kern County, which connected Shust to a second victim who remained anonymous. This finding led to further research into Shust's background, which led to the discovery of a history of violent offenses, including rape and kidnapping. Investigator Steve Rhodes, who works for the Cold Case Unit of the Ventura District Attorney's Office, is now in charge of the Jane Doe cold case. It was revealed after he contacted the Kern County Sheriff's Department to get additional information about Shust that he had briefly resided with a family known as the Bells around the time that the killings took place. Rhodes was aware that he needed to locate the Bell family in order to inquire further about Shust's activities during that time period. Rhodes's investigation eventually led him to a little town in the state of Oklahoma, and it was there that he made contact with Mrs. Bell and her son Scott. They detailed horrifying details about the confession that Shust had made to the murders, which offered critical evidence linking him to the crimes. Bringing closure. The conviction of Wilson Shust for the murders of the Jane Doe victims in Ventura and Kern counties in July 2018 marked a significant step towards justice after 38 long years. His sentence of 2 consecutive life terms in prison without the possibility of parole ensured that he would pay for his heinous crimes. However, there was still one crucial aspect of the investigation that needed to be addressed: the identity of the victims. The process of identifying Jane Doe Kern County was a laborious and delicate one. It required the collaboration of various agencies, including the Jane Doe Project, and the crucial contribution of DNA samples from members of Shirley Okoe's family. Shirley Okoe vanished without a trace in 1979, leaving her loved ones in a state of perpetual anguish and uncertainty. As the pieces of the puzzle came together, investigators finally unearthed the truth behind the woman who had been known only as Jane Doe Kern County for nearly 4 decades. Shirley Okoe's identity was restored, and the revelation brought her family a sense of peace and resolution they had been longing for all those years. The closure was bittersweet, as it meant confirming their worst fears, but it also allowed them to finally say goodbye to their beloved Shirley and lay her memory to rest. While the identification of Shirley Okoe brought comfort to one family, the search for the identity of Jane Doe from Ventura County was still ongoing. Detectives diligently followed her family tree back through generations, tracing her roots to Guatemala and New Mexico. The determination to unveil her true identity remained unwavering, driven by the belief that someone out there was waiting for answers. The investigation indicated that she might have had connections to the region around Los Angeles. Every lead was meticulously followed, and every potential relative was carefully contacted to provide DNA samples. The effort to piece together her family lineage was not only an endeavor to give her back her name, but also an act of compassion and respect for the life that had been taken too soon. In the pursuit of justice and closure for unidentified victims, the Jane Doe Project emerged as a ray of hope. Comprising dedicated volunteers, forensic experts, and genealogists, the project aimed to connect missing persons with their families and bring answers to those left behind in the wake of tragedy. The advancements in DNA technology played a crucial role in making this possible, breathing new life into cold cases that had long remained dormant. As the investigation into Jane Doe Ventura County continued, the Jane Doe Project brought together resources and expertise from across the country, collaborating with law enforcement agencies and families who had lost their loved ones. The commitment of these individuals and organizations demonstrated the power of collective effort and the impact of technology in solving age-old mysteries. For investigator Steve Rhodes and his colleagues, solving the cases of the Jane Doe victims was more than just a job. It was a personal pledge to seek justice for those who could no longer speak for themselves. The relentless pursuit of the truth and the unwavering dedication to their communities exemplified the noble and essential work of law enforcement in providing closure to grieving families. Though the process of identifying Jane Doe Ventura County remained ongoing, the investigators and volunteers involved were fueled by the knowledge that their work could bring solace to another family. The pledge to bring answers to those left in the dark was a driving force, inspiring them to persevere, no matter how many years had passed. After 38 years, law enforcement was able to solve the murders of 2 women identified only as Jane Doe, which is a credit to both their determination and the breakthroughs that have been made in forensic technology. The experiences of Shirley Okoe and the victim from Ventura County bring to light the impact that crimes of this nature have on families and communities, and they serve as a reminder of how important it is to never give up on the pursuit of justice. These successful resolutions serve as rays of hope, indicating that even the deepest secrets can be solved with determination, collaboration, and the power of science. While detectives continue to work hard on other cold cases, these successful resolutions prove that even the darkest mysteries can be solved. Thank you for joining us on this gripping journey into the cold case files of the Jane Doe murders. If you found this true crime story as intriguing as we did, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest investigations. Thanks for watching.